Hello, new school comic book reviews. It's been a while since I've done one of these, and I've had a couple of beers. Anyway, let's start off with Concrete Park #1 from Dark Horse Comics. This one is by Tony Payer and Erica Alexander. Basically, it's kind of a post-apocalyptic story, science fiction-y action adventure story. Our reader identifications character right here is basically was being shipped to some sort of mining or slave colony or something like that, and the ship crashes and he's more or less rescued by the other characters. This character is kind of the leader of the bunch, this female character here, and basically they kind of show him around and kind of explain the world in the area that he's in. He kind of decides to kind of fall in with the group, but he's still kind of, on the he's in his gray area of whether he wants to throw down with them completely or not. Basically, the story is pretty interesting. It's in a lot of ways, it's pretty much a standard sort of thing that you would see in a modern day science fiction adventure type film. It's full of good looking people, guns, action, and things like that. In the editorial, they basically say that the original idea, they originally pitched this as a movie, but it was kind of rejected by some Hollywood producers, basically, who told them something to the effect of, well, black people don't like science fiction. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, the setup is pretty intriguing. It's a lot of fun. I like the art. The art is somewhere. It's not totally cartoony and it's not completely simplistic, but it's somewhere in between standard cartoony and standard comic book superhero art. I do like the fact that the artists are able to use just a few simple lines to distinguish everybody. Obviously, the main characters are people of color, and they're able to make people look different. And like I said, it's an intriguing setup, and I'm interested in seeing how it goes. Let's see here, She-Hulk. She-Hulk #8 by Soul and Peludo. Basically, the story here is, I guess this is kind of reflecting what's going to be going on in the Captain America comics in the next few months. Steve Rogers is a 90-year-old man now, and somebody has brought wrongful a wrongful death suit against him. So he's hired Jennifer Walters to take the case for him. And I don't want to give too much away, but it ends on a cliffhanger where, and I don't know if I mentioned, She-Hulk is part of, or not She-Hulk, um, this lady right here with the red hair is Patsy Walker Hellcat, and she's part of the um, supporting cast now. I was going to say the cliffhanger ends on a note that if you've been reading Marvel Comics for a while, for me, it was like, oh my God, that's super obvious. I can't believe nobody's done that before. But yeah, not super obvious in a bad way. It's like a cool thing, but it's like, how come these two characters have never done what they're going to do now, type of thing. Um, and yeah, it's fun. It's really interesting. I know a lot of people have a problem with with Peludo's art. I think it's great. I think it totally um, fits the tone of this comic. It's lighthearted. It's tongue in cheek. Doesn't take itself too seriously, and it's fun. And there's a craft there that I think some people miss. You know what I mean? But design wise, graphic wise, I think it's a lot of fun. Anyway, Dr. Mirage from Valiant Comics. Dr. Mirage is this kind of, I guess, paranormal investigator. I guess she's kind of got psychic powers. She can sort of talk to the dead. I didn't say who the credits are. The credits are Jen Van Meter, Tim Siddell, Raul Allen, Wilfredo Torres and Dylan Todd. Anyway, like I said, she's kind of this paranormal investigator. She's got some emotional baggage going on. She's really cynical about things going on, and but she takes this case from this older guy who used to be in the military. Goes back. His history goes back to, I've got to reread it, but I think Vietnam, if not Korea, and Vietnam, I want to say. And he's got some occult stuff going on where he wants her to look into it. She finds out he's actually got some sort of demon or otherworldly person in his basement, and he pretends to not know. He pretends, he doesn't know as much as he obviously does know as far as the occult and whatnot is concerned. But like I said, Dr. Mirage agrees to take the case, and that's basically where we're left. There's some. This is the plus. This is the plus edition. So I guess there's some extra back matter. There's one story here that has been drawn in the style of an old golden age comic, old pulpy type things. I'm not too sure how it's going to fit into the bigger story, but I'm sure it will be. There's some information here as far as the supporting characters that live in Dr. Mirage's world, and we get some character sketches as far as, like, again, occult beings and whatnot. So it's pretty interesting. It's really on this thick, heavy paper, and I didn't notice it when I picked it up. It's a $5 comic book. It's $4.99. But I think for what I got here, I normally would not pick up a $4.99 comic, but for what I got with this one, I think it was pretty much worth it. Let's see here. Oh, Deadly Hands of Kung Fu by uh, Mike Mike Benson, uh, Tan Ing Hot, and Craig Young. I gotta say, I like the story, but I've been disappointed with the art. This is the last part of a four-part story, and I think the story did a pretty good job of being fast-paced and action-packed, and reintroducing Shang to an audience that might not be familiar with him. You get to see cameos and appearances by people from his former series. Blackjack Tar shows up. Yukio has a big role. There's cameos by the Daughters of the Dragon and the Sons of the Tiger, and all that stuff I like. The plot stuff I like. It's just that the art was kind of a letdown. I really thought it was substandard and subpar. I mean, when I picked up the first issue, it was, there were pages where Shang didn't even look Chinese, you know what I mean? You couldn't even tell. The characters looked so different from, like, page to page. There was, like, no consistency to it. And there's, like, some really weird, wonky perspective things going on. And like I said, I wanted to like this comic a little bit more, but I think the art just kind of let me down a little bit. And I'm usually a guy that can, try to find something good to like, um, in most comic book art, but whether it's realistic or whether it's cartoony or what. But yeah, the art in this series kind of let me down. What else did I get? Those were the ones that left the biggest impression on me. I've got Stray Bullets, number 6. Haven't gotten around to reading that. Fade Out, number 1. Haven't read that yet. Ms. Marvel, number 7. Read it, liked it, having fun with it. Storm, it's okay. Storm number 2, just okay. What else did I get? Got Alice Cooper. Haven't read it yet. It seems like every generation, Alice Cooper and Kiss come out with new comics. Every 10 years they've got to come out with some sort of comic. This one's from Dynamite, I think. Yeah, Dynamite. What else? Let's see here. I got Low, number 1 and number 2. I really didn't have any sort of intention in getting this. This is by Rick Remender and Greg Tuccini. But for whatever reason, I just decided to flip through it when I was at the store, and the art was okay, and I guess the premise was intriguing enough. Basically, it's a kind of a science fiction-y type adventure type story, set in the, oh, I better not show that page. Set in the near future or whatever, where most of humanity is living underseas. And I guess there's kind of the rich people, I guess there's kind of the poor people or whatever. And in the first issue, we get to see, let's see here. Well, we get to see, I'm trying to find a PG-13 picture to show you. Let's see here. Not that there is anyone, but I want to show you a good picture of this one guy. Well, you know what? We get to see this guy. We get to see this guy and his wife. Obviously, he is a kind of a higher up in society, and he talks about what a great society they have and how humanity needs to go forward and so on and so forth. And he feels that him and his family will be the people to help guide, the rest of civilization to whatever greatness lies out there. What happens in the first issue is they're attacked by scavengers or whatever, and something really serious happens, and maybe things aren't as optimistic as that guy thinks, you know, as he thinks. We pick up 10 years later. This guy on the cover is the son of the man and lady that I just showed you, but society's in a very different place now than it was then, and there's a sort of there's a bleaker outlook as far as where the society is and what's going to go on, and we find out that maybe this guy here, maybe he's got some issues that need to be resolved. But yeah, I kind of like the setup. The art is very different, very intriguing. Well, I'm showing you random stuff here, but I mean, you really have to see. I don't want to show you things that are like going to give away too much of the story, but I really, it's worth taking a peek at. It's worth taking a look at, and you can decide for yourself if it's the type of thing that you want to indulge in. But like I said, I really wasn't that interested in it before from seeing it in previews, but flipping it through it in the store, I decided to give it a go, and I'm glad I did. What else did I get here? The other thing I got was Supreme #2 Blue Rose, which is a lot of fun. Really playing with the kind of parallel universe, alternative world type of thing. It feels like, oh, I should mention this is by Warren Ellis and Tula Latoy. This really feels like reading, like, maybe, I don't know, if William Gibson did a uh, did a superhero comic. That's what this comic would be. That's what this comic is. So anyway, that's it. I got to thank you very much for listening, and everybody have a good day.